Welcome to this video all about offering bars sessions. So once you have taken an Access Bars class, you are a bars practitioner who can offer sessions. So what does a session look like? Typically, a full bar session that you might offer to clients can be anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes. If you run the implant band for somewhere between around 10 minutes, the restructuring of bodies around 5 to 10 minutes, and every other bars point at 5, you end up around an hour. As you've probably learned in your bars class, always follow the energy with the length of time. But if you are starting a business, it's good to be clear on how many minutes you're offering and what you would like to charge. When you are choosing a price, we have had longer Zooms and conversations about this, but that may change a lot over time as you do. So start with a price that works for you, that is light for you, that excites you, and maybe terrifies you just a little bit, but where you know you are absolutely delivering a wonderful session for that price. So you may start somewhere like $30, $60 an hour and end up somewhere a lot higher. Do what works for you and allow yourself to change as you change and keep checking in. One of the keys to knowing when your price requires to change is if you start getting bored with offering sessions or not enjoying doing them, then you may want to ask a question. In that case, you can also reach out to other practitioners and facilitators in Access Consciousness. We have a practitioner Facebook group where people connect, and also a whole library for bars practitioners on Kajabi, which is our online resource center, where you can find more information on that. Also, you can offer bar sessions at events or things like expos or gatherings, or maybe a business invites you in to run a sample bar session. In that case, it might be a lot shorter than an hour. You can offer a 15-minute bar session where you might run an implant band, one of the first energy pool, implant band, and restructuring. I mean, how does that work for that session or environment that you're in? And you can choose that. So you can choose the length of time. You can offer mini sessions, and in paid sessions, just be clear about what is your price and how many minutes you are offering. One of the other things we'd love to address is, can you mix modalities when you give a bar session? You might be trained in lots of other things. How do we know what a bar session is and what isn't? So Pam is with me again today. And would you talk a little bit, Pam, about mixing modalities and sessions?
So you'll hear us talk about this. We ask that you not mix modalities. So what does that mean? Well, most of us aren't just, knowing bars and wanting to offer bars sessions. Maybe you're an acupuncturist, maybe you do Reiki, maybe most of us have multiple things that we either do or are licensed in or have been licensed in. And all of those things are amazing, but we're asking that when someone comes to you for a bars session, that they get the bars. Does this mean you can never add anything else? Well, we're not going to say never, ever. What we do ask is that you be really clear. So, and I'll tell you guys a story that goes with this. So we had somebody who was really irate because she went to a bars class to learn how to be, to be a bars practitioner. And the sessions that she had received for bars included chanting, incense, crystals, and I can't remember what all else. And she thought the bars class was going to teach her about all of those things because her practitioner wasn't clear. The practitioner was adding these other things in without letting the client know what's access, what's coming from something else. So there's also things that actually interfere with the bars running well. So music, aromatherapy, so rather than trying to be like, well, here's everything that can interfere with the bars, it's, what if you actually just let the bars be the bars and offer the bars session without everything else added in? But if you do add anything else in, make sure you're really clear about what's access and what's not. It's when you get to being licensed as a facilitator and teaching access classes that there's a very strong no mixing modalities in your classes. But in your sessions, we're not over your shoulder looking, saying, "Oh, you can't do this." But just be really aware and clear and ask questions about what what's going to contribute to your client. Emily, is there anything else along with that you want to add to?
Yeah, I love that you said honor the gift that Access Bars is. It is one of the first times that people actually just get to receive. And it's so different from anything else, that space, and the space that you are as a practitioner of no judgment, lightly touching their head and allowing them to receive whatever they would like to from the session. You might have had maybe a session with a facilitator or someone that maybe ran verbal clearings, or you may know the clearing statement. That is not required in a bar session. You can do that, but the gift of bars is truly someone being able to lay down and receive, and also follow their lead. So if they're not talking to you, you don't want to talk at your bar's client. They may enjoy, like, follow them. If they're talking at you and asking you a lot of questions, well, then obviously they're wanting to engage in a conversation, but allow them to lead. Allow the gift of bars as it is to be the gift, the powerful, potent gift that Access Bars is. Also, one of the big differences as a practitioner is many people may ask you, well, how many sessions do I require? Or can this heal this? Or can this, how many sessions do I need to change my back pain? And one of the gifts and the tagline of Access Consciousness is empowering you to know that you know. So what if you asked your clients a question like, well, let me know when do you require another session? When would your body like another session? And ask them what they discovered or learned through the session, rather than what if you didn't have to have an answer about the sessions and you were there to gift this beautiful body process called Access Bars. You didn't have to have any answers. You didn't have to promise that it was going to change anything. There wasn't a certain number of required sessions or a certain price you had to charge. What if you empowered your clients to find something totally different and you to create a completely different business as a practitioner? What if you could have a 6-figure business or more just with offering bar sessions? It's totally possible. It's one of the most in-demand modalities in the world. More and more people are finding out about it. We have over 1 million people a month that come to our website, and the number one thing searched is Access Bars. So what if you and Access Bars are actually the valuable product? And who can you engage with and who can you talk to share the gift of Access Bars and your gift as a practitioner?
Well, and Emily, one of the things you just mentioned made me think of this. Like, people are used to going to practitioners and modalities where somebody's giving them an answer. What's wrong with me and how do I fix it? And you talked about, being in question and empowering them. But they might ask you, oh, what do you get? What's going on with me? Can you talk a little bit about how to handle that?
Yes, I know this one well, because we're trained to go, what's wrong with me? Or was my money bar running a lot? Does that mean I have a lot of money problems? Or what about my body bar? Like, all these questions. And one of the greatest things you can ask someone is, what do you know? What was that like for you? And say, if you have any questions, what if you let this session settle in? If you have any questions, I'm here for you to contact me. But what if you didn't have to actually provide an answer or a solution for what they think is wrong with them? And I don't know, Pam, if you'd add anything else to that, but I know being this space and asking them a question, they have probably never had that also from another practitioner. So it might seem very strange to them. You might get, well, what do you mean? How many times do I have to come back? And what if you empower them to, you will know. And if you need anything or have a question, I am here. And what do you know about this? You will know. Trust your body. Your body will know what it requires, when you need another session, and what else is possible. And Pam, I don't know if you'd add anything else to that.
Well, just that you can really say it very directly. Access is very different. I'm not here to tell you what's going on with you, but to ask you questions and empower you to know what's going on with you. And then everything else Emily said. So one more thing I wanted to make sure we talk about is like, when a bar session is very different. And that could be running bars with kids. Like, kids bars can run really fast. So whereas a grown-up, you might give them a 90-minute session, a 9-year-old might just have a 10 or 12-minute session. And there's no like rule of thumb of like, oh, this is how it is, but just trust you'll know oh, these bars are running really fast, we're done. And you don't have to go into your head and say, oh, wait, but I'm supposed to do a session for an hour and a half. So, you know, and kids will run bars really quickly. So don't be surprised if you have a child run your bars, if it's a much faster session. One time I had an 11-year-old and his mom in my class. And when the 11-year-old ran his mom's bars, and she was a bars facilitator, I asked, how was that? Because it was really quick. And she said, well, it was like intravenous bars. Like it was amazing. Another thing, you know, and it could be somebody with autism, but also somebody who's just has a really sensitive head. You might find someone who doesn't want their head touched, or they can't tolerate their head being touched. And you actually can run the bars slightly off somebody's head, because you have energetic fingers that come out further than your physical fingers. So you're putting your hands in the positions, but you're just not touching their head. You know, you always, with a bar session, you want to go with what works for your client. And if you're perceiving there's something going on, you can talk to them and, you know, and ask. My son, it was 6 months before I could run a full bar session on him. He could only tolerate 30 seconds on a bar and just a few at a time. And then gradually that shifted and changed, and he loves having his bars run.
One thing, let's add it because we're talking about sessions, because this one does come up a lot. If you have a client that after a bar session says, I have a headache or something hurts, what is a great way to respond to that?
So, one, first of all, is to not go into, oh no, what did I do? You cannot hurt somebody with the bars. A lot of times what happens is bars are allowing somebody to increase their awareness, and awareness can show up in a lot of different ways. And so really what you want to do is ask a question, and we're going to do another video that really goes into all kinds of things that come up for people after sessions. So you can look for that one too, but it's really, you want to ask a question. You know, because if they're like, oh my God, now my head aches. So, okay, so what is this? What can we do with it? Can it change? If so, how do you change it? So notice as I ask those questions, there's space, like your body kind of relaxes, and there's room to use a tool. A great one for somebody who like has a headache after bars is, hey, I'm wondering, sometimes we're just really aware. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I just want you to look at like what's heavy, what's light. So, you know, is it yours? Is it someone else's? Is it something else's? And you see which one of those they say. And it could be more than one. But basically, a lot of times people are aware of other things that aren't really theirs, and just asking, who does this belong to? Is it yours? Someone else's? Something else's? Might shift it. I'd say, Emily, probably the more stuff we might want to go into in a different video, but do you have anything else you want to add to that?
I think that's it. Again, like as we start talking, I'm like, we could add a lot more to this video. But those are the basics, and also have a way to receive money. Also, we can go more into that in another video too, but whether you have a website or a PayPal account, and that should cover the basics. And then we'll have another video on more of the details of offering sessions. Thank you guys.